Thanks to this man, a grand jury has indicted Bumblebee Foods CEO Christopher Liszewski on price-fixing charges. Prosecutors say he conspired with other people in the industry to eliminate competition by fixing the price of canned tuna. Two other Bumblebee executives have already pleaded guilty. The company agreed to pay a $25 million fine.
Scientists ran DNA tests on canned tuna, bought from grocery stores across America. What they found was not tuna, escolar, a fish so toxic to the human digestive system that Japan and Italy have banned it from being sold entirely. Sitting in cans, labeled as tuna, on shelves you have been shopping from for years. That is not the worst part. The worst part is which brands the testing flagged. Names you grew up with, names your doctor never told you to avoid. Names sitting in the pantries of pregnant women and cancer patients because the label said tuna, and nobody checked what was actually inside. 7 brands investigated. Only 2 are actually real fish. Let's open every single one. Number 1, Starkist. Charlie the tuna has been trying to get caught since 1961. That is the joke. The mascot with taste. The fish who wanted to be good enough for Starkist. Generations of American families grew up with that cartoon playing on their television sets. Charlie became one of the most recognized brand mascots in food history. Parents bought Starkist. Their children bought Starkist. Their grandchildren are buying Starkist right now without a second thought.
Lord have mercy.
Charlie never mentioned the federal criminal conviction. Here is what happened. Starkist, Bumblebee, and Chicken of the Sea coordinated pricing across the American canned tuna market for years. They conspired to fix prices so that regardless of which can a consumer picked up, they were paying whatever the cartel had agreed on. The Department of Justice investigated. Starkist pleaded guilty to federal price-fixing charges in 2019. The company was fined $100 million. $100 million in fines. Charlie kept smiling on the can. That conviction alone should give every family pause before the next purchase. But the sourcing problems run deeper than the price fixing. Independent DNA testing conducted by researchers at ocean conservation institutions has flagged species substitution in Starkist product lines. Cans labeled as albacore containing skipjack.
Lord
Cans
Jesus.
labeled as
Only way you will survive is grow your own food or buy from local farmers. That's only way. If it's not, your ass will be dead soon.
tuna containing species that were not identified as tuna at all. The testing methodology is straightforward. DNA sequencing does not lie about what species is in the can. The label sometimes does. Then there is the mercury question. Certain Starkist varieties have tested above FDA advisory thresholds for mercury in independent laboratory analysis. The FDA sets advisory limits specifically because mercury accumulates in the body over time. It crosses the placental barrier. It affects neurological development in fetuses and young children. Pregnant women and families with young children are the most vulnerable population, and they are also the core Starkist consumer demographic. Open a can of Starkist Chunk Light and press the fish against the side of the can with a fork. Notice the texture variation. Some pieces firm, some dissolving immediately. That inconsistency across a single can is not natural variation in one species. That is what multiple species processed together looks like when the flesh behaves differently under the same conditions. Charlie wanted to be caught by Starkist. You deserve to know exactly what Starkist is catching. The next brand has been investigated by a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalism team. The mermaid did not come out of it well. Number 2, Chicken of the Sea. You've seen this mermaid your entire life. She has been on that can since 1940, safe in the way that only something truly familiar can feel. That feeling is the product. The fish behind it is a different story. Chicken of the Sea is owned by Thai Union, a Thai corporation that controls roughly 20% of the global canned seafood market. And Thai Union is not a company with a clean record in any category. The Associated Press published a landmark investigation into Thai Union supply vessels. What they found was forced labor, men trafficked onto fishing boats, held at sea for years.
What?
No contract, no way off the vessel. The fish those men caught under those conditions ended up in cans on American grocery shelves. That investigation won a Pulitzer Prize. Thai Union issued statements, joined sustainability coalitions, promised systemic reform. The mermaid stayed smiling on the can. Independent audits of Thai Union supply chains conducted after those initial investigations continued to flag unresolved sourcing issues. Certification Dean category for Thai Union. The volume is exponentially larger. More vessels, more processing facilities, more supply chain complexity, more opportunities for species substitution to occur between ocean and can without detection.
Wow.
Species substitution in canned tuna is not a theoretical risk. It is a documented reality across the category. When the supply chain is this large and this opaque, the verification systems that should catch substitution before the can is sealed are the same systems the corporation controls and self-reports. Open a chicken of the sea can and look at the liquid before you drain it. In a properly sourced single species tuna product, the brine or water runs consistently clear or lightly colored. What runs cloudy and varied from a can with species mixing looks different because different fish process differently under the same conditions. The mermaid has been smiling through every investigation, every audit, and every Pulitzer Prize for over a century. She is not Smiley Foods. This one completed the criminal triangle. Starkist pleaded guilty. Chicken of the Sea cooperated with investigators. Bumblebee went the furthest. CEO Christopher Leshewski was convicted at trial in 2019 and sentenced to 40 months in federal prison. Not a settlement, not a plea agreement, a jury conviction. The man running one of the most recognizable canned tuna brands in America was found guilty of criminal price fixing and sent to prison. Budget families and general consumers are still buying Bumblebee every week without knowing any of that happened.
Jesus.
The company filed for bankruptcy the same year as the conviction, restructured under new private equity ownership, emerged with new leadership language, updated packaging aesthetics, and renewed commitments to sustainability and sourcing transparency. Here is the test for whether a restructured company has genuinely changed. Look at what is verifiably different about how the product is sourced, tested, and certified. Not what the press release says.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, Wakahakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the 1/3 remnant out there listening and doing his word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say, Shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sent around the video that was just played on the screen. And it's going into how, I mean, pretty much everything we eat, you know, from canned foods to quote-unquote organic foods to the water we drink, whether that's over-purified water or whether that's water with or septic water, right? That's mineralized and cleansed. Okay, but one thing they don't, or that they fail to acknowledge, is that water keeps its memory because it's alive, right? So we consume these things, all right? And these things, you know, they're killing us slowly. You know? I mean, we got seedless grapes, which is, you know, is predominant, right? Seedless watermelon, seedless oranges, GMO grapes, genetically modified grapes that taste like cotton candy or, you know, whatever the hell. We got fluoride infested water. Okay, low quality air. I mean, everything in this place is oppression, and it's is meant to degrade your body and your soul and your spirit. Okay, it's meant to eat at you over time. Okay, you live, here it is, you eat a perfectly healthy diet, you exercise, you work out and all this other shit, and you still will develop, you know, a sickness, right? Something chronic, you know, develop asthma after years of being completely healthy, running, playing sports or wherever the fuck, and now all of a sudden you got asthma. You know, find out you type 2 diabetic, You know, it's just crazy shit. And you don't even have to be out here, you know, eating knowingly defiled foods, right? But because they put shit like red 40, yellow 6, blue 1, high fructose corn syrup, you still, you know, getting hit with these pesticides and chemicals that he's, you know, flooding foods with. Now up until the point you eat something real, it don't even taste right because he done hit you with so many different taste modifiers that you know, what's real don't even taste good no more. We have to get the fuck out of here. We have to get out of here. You know? We have to get out of here. But you got people, you know, who see shit like this and they, you know, they don't even give a damn. How many years ago did it come out that McDonald's was actually human meat? You know? And people didn't give a fuck. Still, you know, how many tests got to come out showing that you know, the food don't age, it don't mold. You know, McDonald's be in a jar for, you know, Lord knows how many days and weeks, and it still looks like it's fresh off the grill, right? Don't even have a smell or odor, okay? Because all this shit is, it's not even real, man. It's fucking fake. You know, processed food, you eat it and, you know, you get no nutritional value, okay? Only thing you get is those parasites in your body being satisfied, okay? Those, your taste buds being oversaturated with chemical flavors, okay? Your brain all fucked up because it's being manipulated into thinking it's receiving something beneficial. It's Ezekiel 4:13. And Yahweh Shema Shah said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their bread defiled among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. Right? So the Lord said we're going to eat our bread defiled. He was not playing. He was not, you know, He meant every word of that. Every bit. Okay, because I mean, damn, that's what we do here, man. Everything's fucking defiled. I just found out, you know, I'm thinking you know, found a new treat that's, you know, bread and fucking and chicken, right? Some shit called bun buns, Japanese dish, right? Fucking go in there one day and I see on a sign, you know, dough is made with lard. Like, god damn, man. Do you really have to put lard on bread? No, you don't. You don't have to cook bread with fucking pig fat. But because this is Babylon, and because abominable foods is just like in abundance, defiled foods is just in abundance, where people go out of their way to find a new way to defile it, right? Or to make something worse. That's pretty much the consequence of it, right? Shit like that. Can't even have a normal meal. You know? You go to a fucking Issachar restaurant, guarantee you know, they're cooking, they got, you know, pig fat and lard all over the grill, man. Even if they say, you know, we don't make the beans with lard, you know. This shit is maddening, man. You know, but you have to eat, otherwise you starve to death. So the best thing you can do is, you know, that's why the scriptures say pray without ceasing. You have to pray over all things, especially your food, man. This is Hosea 9:3. They shall not dwell in Yahweh Shemashai's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. And Assyria is, a place where we were once conquered by. Okay, but the new Assyria is here in America. Okay, and Ephraim is here oppressed with Judah as well, man. So, all of Israel is in Assyria right now, eating their bread defiled, eating unclean things. Okay. Now, Jake, for the most part, delights in unclean things, right? Matter of fact, they look at you weird when you asking for the ingredients, when you checking ingredients on wherever it is you plan on consuming to see what's in there. Jake think you weird and shit because these niggas just eat, Even if they do understand the different drugs and shit that's in their food, they don't give a damn, okay? Because Jake is Israel a homeborn slave? Most niggas are. Okay, but if you are trying to eat right and you are trying to actually abstain from, the wickedness and abominations that's in the food, you gonna realize it's actually very difficult. It's actually difficult. And once you do find something that's decent, what about the things they don't tell you put in it, Because when they say that something's organic, all right, there's plenty of loopholes behind that. Meaning that, someone can label it organic simply because it came from their particular farm or their particular distribution center, right? They can say it's organically made in Kentucky, and that passes, right? Esau's a damn demon. Or if they put food coloring in your shit, they don't count that. They don't put that on in the ingredients, right? Not all the time. Okay, so this place is ultimately just hell, That's why you guys who say keep the law perfectly. Where? Let me see where you eat at. Right? You order from a restaurant that serve anything unclean, you fucked. Right? This is Isaiah 24 and 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish, right? People are languishing. Different diseases are, very prevalent. Diabetes, heart failure, heart disease, fucking cancers, found all over the body, in the colon, in the stomach, okay? Women's uteruses going bad. Men got low testosterone. Well, your diet got a big part to play in that. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, right? Because there's a way in which you run the earth. And these devils, okay, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed right man, he is not ruling correctly, okay? Everything he does is backwards. Nothing makes sense, okay? Here it is, fruit and food and vegetables, certain foods grow freely in the earth. It takes little to no maintenance, but this nigga, he gotta go and dip his fucking test tube into that, man. Some nigga in a cardigan playing with your goddamn food, man. Studying the psychological effects of the drugs that he puts in them and how it's gonna make you addicted. This devil merged the Food and Drug Administration. They shouldn't even be in the same sentence, right? People nowadays get addicted to eating, and they're addicted to eating pesticides, man, and chemicals. They're addicted to the dopamine enhancers in their brain, man. Not even actual food, you know. So this place is just, you know, it has everybody fucked up, you know. Little do they know it, you know. A lot of people are ignorant to it, but you know, we're here to tell you. All right, this is 2 Peter 3:13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and the new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, because in this place unrighteousness is paramount. Okay, the heavens in which we're under and the earth in which we dwell now is completely defiled, and we need a new one. Okay, it needs to be refreshed, because everything, I mean, he's gotten to the point where, you know, these GMO seeds are all over the world. Okay, this has become the new culture, almost the new way of distribution and agriculture and farming, industrialized farming. You know, animals getting fed Skittles. Came out a minute ago. Chickens that are, you know, shot up with all type of drugs and steroids. You know, chicken got 8 wings. Just all type of madness, man. And you're forced to, you know, consume some of this shit. You know, this is Revelations 21:4. This is why we look for Yahushua to come and deliver us, man. This is why we beg and pray, and every day we're vexed with the idea of having to be in this place, man. Another day, another hour, man. It's like fuck, you know. But we try to make the best out of it, because we got faith that, you know, the Lord's going to deliver us. This is Revelations 21:4. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, and the former things are passed away. And that's what we look to, man. When the Lord's gonna, you know, we ain't gonna be complaining no more in our prayers. Our prayers is gonna be full of rejoicing and full of praising the Lord, man. Full of the thankfulness for delivering us from under this place. We could raise our kids in peace without having to worry about their life. You can eat something without having to check the ingredients. Everything's gonna be lawful. We're gonna be wondering like, fuck, man, did I go off with this, you know? Damn, I forgot to ask what grease he used to make this. You know, you're gonna have to ask all that. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things anew. And he said unto me, write, for these words are faithful and true. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking forward to Yahushua to come and renew everything. Come and, you know, reset the earth. That way we can have fresh air, clean water, you know, real food, and not cloned meat, right? To where we can actually be nourished by the things we put in our body, not have to make up with it with, you know, a cocktail of vitamins and fucking herbs, right? Where we won't have no more sicknesses and illnesses. It won't be any more death, you know. So that's what we're waiting at, because this life itself is death, and everything in between. Okay. So with that, I give all praise and the glory to Yahweh, Bashim Al Shah, Bashim Rakakudash, Wa, Ba, and DTA, DTN.